says live on Facebook. Woohoo!
Yay!
Everyone, Laura Cerrano here from Feng Shui Manhattan, the talk show. So I'm very excited to welcome you all. And today I'm doing an interview with Lisa Jacoby, who is a certified Ayurvedic healing practitioner. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, Laura, so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
Yeah, so we've been talking for a few days with emails and Zoom as well. And I'm so happy that you're here because I feel in this time of COVID, of quarantine and things like that, and everything else that's been happening in the world, we need as many healers, as authentic healers as much as possible to essentially step up to the platform and share their knowledge and share their compassion and their love to the world. And I know it sounds woo-woo, but it's so true, it's needed. And I figured Ayurvedic healing and treatments and things like that and tips would be perfect in helping us learn how to heal at home and then even bring these teachings everywhere we go daily. So welcome to the show. And I would like to get to know you and the audience to get to know you even more. So how did your journey into studying Ayurvedic healing, I guess we'll say teachings and such, how did that begin? Who are you? Who are you?
That's a great question. Thank you, Laura. My name is Lisa and I come from Colorado. I moved to California in 2016, and I had been in the field of medicine for 12 years, and I loved helping people. I've always had this knack for wanting to be able to heal somebody. If they're hurting, I want to hug you. I wanted to explore that always in my life. But when I came to California in 2016, I came here I'm trying to escape my own issues. And after 1 year being here, I realized it didn't work. So I came to California with depression, addiction, anxiety, insomnia, so much. And my journey into Ayurveda began with my own healing. So once I surrendered to what I was dealing with, which was facing my addictions, I got help. And I went into rehab. And that was huge. It helped me in so many places, but there were still so many missing parts to it. But it sure got me removed from the substance and able to start exploring my own self-healing. So after I did that, I went straight into a 10-day silent meditation called Vipassana. So here is where my real, true inner healing started to emerge. Vipassana is where you go and it's a 10-day silent meditation, like I said. 10 hours a day, you're sitting and you're scanning your body. You're scanning all of the physical sensations, the emotional sensations that you have, and you're trying not to react to any of them. So you're sitting there and you're going, oh, my back hurts, or oh my gosh, this one memory popped up, and you're crying, but you're trying not to have blind reactions to it. So you're sitting there with the understanding that everything is always temporary. They call it anicca. And so after that 10-day silent meditation, I came out of there like a new woman. I mean, I had rehab. I was sober now for 4 months almost, and I was like, okay, now I have all these powers and I want to be able to utilize them and continue my own healing. But where do I go with this? So it was like Ayurveda came to me. I was scrolling on Facebook and I found Southern California University of Health Sciences. And so I just thought Ayurveda, and they also had a PA program, but I called them about Ayurveda for some reason. And I didn't really know much about it, except for meditation was a facet of Ayurveda. So I called them. The lady was so nice. I went in for an interview. I met Naomi, who I now work with and love and adore. And next thing you know, I'm enrolled into this condensed program. It was 2 year intense program, condensed from 4 years. And I went into this knowing that it might not be the answer, but it might. So, hey, what do I have to lose? And every day, my studies and in my experiences, it was another confirmation that Ayurveda is the answer, because it taught me how to start healing myself. And when you can heal, start being your own doctor, your own healer, then you can actually start doing whatever it is that you want to do in your life. And for me, it was to continue on with my healing practices.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. It's and thank you for being so vulnerable and honest with us, because I know there can be other people out there who may be struggling with the same thing or might be embarrassed or ashamed, and it's just showing there are many paths to that healing and that rebirth, if you will. And I find it, so many healers will have a story that maybe they've emerged out of some type of trauma or something of that within their life, kind of like the lotus flower emerging from the mud, if you will, and becoming so beautiful and powerful. So with that, because I know a lot of people are eager to learn about the actual tips, what are some either daily tips that you can offer for the physical body, the emotional body, maybe the mental body as well, that we can easily adopt and adapt into our lifestyles?
Yeah. Okay, so the first tip is to know thyself, and Ayurveda has a simple test in that you can place yourself in a category of what they call a dosha. So that's basically a constitution where you fit, and it's a broad spectrum, but it brings you into basically 3 doshas. So you can take one of these quizzes called a dosha quiz, and you can say, oh, I'm primarily more pitta, I'm more fire element, or I'm primarily kapha, I'm more earth element and water, or I'm more vata, I'm more air and space. Once you know yourself a little bit more, you know where you need to balance yourself. So I know for myself, I'm primarily a vata pitta person. So the techniques and things that I do are all about balancing me. And I do that by getting into a routine. And that means getting up at the same time every morning, practicing self-care, self-love. When you wake up in the morning, you should start your day with gratitude, and do that by connecting with all of your senses. So you wake up and you're like, instead of reaching for the cell phone or reaching for the clicker to turn on the news or the cup of coffee, the things that are knee-jerk reactions that we normally do, practice waking up in the morning and opening your eyes and being grateful for vision. And practice, connecting to your skin, your touch, your being able to feel, in your ears. Connecting to the 5 senses is key to health and balance in Ayurveda. So starting the day with gratitude is one tip. Another one is sipping on warm water. Instead of going straight to coffee, it's just warm water, because it helps stimulate digestion. And when you have healthy digestion, you have a healthy body, because then we're able to take in our food, nourish our body. And then there's so many more tips that I can go into, but one of the biggest ones is also meal times, eating at the right times of day. So protecting our health is protecting our sense organs, protecting our mind by waking up with gratitude and setting that intention for the day. But protecting our digestive system is by not just, oh, I got to grab and go, or I got to drink this cold smoothie. In Ayurveda, it's called Agni, and that's your digestive fire. So by drinking hot water first thing in the morning, that's stimulating your digestion. So you're helping things move along. Another practice is doing like a little breathing technique, whether it's 2 minutes or 20 minutes, just simple basic abdominal breathing, or doing a alternate nostril breathing. And for each person, there's a different kind of breath work you can do, but just a basic abdominal breath is good. And also there's a little self massage in the morning for aches and pains, or you're putting some sesame oil on your body, doing some tongue scraping. So, all these things are all helping to protect your and nourish your digestive fire, but just keep you in balance throughout the day. So let me go back. I'm sorry, I kind of skipped through that. Let's go back to
you're excited. It's a good thing.
It's my first interview, so I'm a little.
It's all good.
But the meal times is one of the most important things that we don't learn about. But if you can make your biggest meal of the day at lunch and incorporate all 6 flavors, make it a warm, home-cooked meal, that makes their digestive system work really well. and then having a light dinner and being done eating by 7 o'clock. And so those are just a few tips: gratitude, meal times, and then self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about the breath, which we'll get to that one. But you mentioned something interesting. So I think you said have the 6 flavors in your meal or something, right? So what would be some quick examples of some tasty flavors that you recommend?
Okay, so in Ayurveda, we have herbs in diet that can help balance ourselves. When you're balancing yourselves with food, you go by the tastes. So we have sweet, sour, salty, astringent, bitter, and pungent. So those are 6 tastes. What you want to do is incorporate all of them into one meal if you can, and that by making a little sweet, a little bit of pungent with maybe some black pepper. You can use all natural raw materials, but make sure it's home cooked. The bitter comes from the green leafy vegetables, and some white rice is easy to digest. So one of our favorite recipes is khichdi. So that has tastes in it. And so going back to the doshas though, each dosha has 3 tastes that balance each one. So because each taste is made up of a different element, and now that's going even further into it, but
that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are a more vata person and you're more air space and you're more prone to anxiety and sleeplessness, insomnia, sweet, sour, salty balances out that dosha. So you want to have the sweet is made up of earth and water. So that balances you by grounding you, because earth and water are heavy elements, right? So that's how the tastes come into a lot of the balancing acts and healing of Ayurveda.
And then what about, since we started on this journey, we don't want to leave out the other elements. What if you're a pitta person, which I think is fire, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or?
So pitta is fire. Yep.
Okay.
Pitta is fire and water. So the balancing taste for pitta is bitter, astringent, and sweet. And when I say sweet, I mean more like dates that are sweet or white rice that is sweet. And you want to stay away from processed sugar and other processed foods. So, and then kapha, that is the earth and water element together, and that's like it's got a lot of grounding, so you need a more space and fire and air to help balance that kapha element. So those balancing flavors is going to be pungent and bitter and astringent. Even though kapha people want sweet, sour, salty, it will further increase them. So the bitter, astringent, and pungent help to balance the kapha. So
that's interesting, because I know at least quickly in the practice of Feng Shui, when we look at the 5 elements, a lot of times to help enhance an element, we'll use something that is just before it. And then if we want to balance something out or maybe reduce it, you can use, just keeping it simple, the opposite element and say, okay, let's just control this. Let's calm it down. There are different terminologies, but a lot of times when people think of opposite, they think it's a negative, and it's really not. If you know how to, like an alchemist, utilize it and craft it just right, like a chemist. So that's very interesting.
And that's exactly it. And that's where Ayurveda clicked for me, because it was simple math, right? So you have a person here with too much pitta, too much fire element, right? So you don't want to add more fire element to that pitta person. You want to have them avoid spicy foods because they're already fire. So they need more balancing foods. They need cooling foods. They need more lighter foods. So it is like increases like, like increases like, and then opposites are balancing, just like Feng Shui. So it's a universal rule, and it works beautifully, and it's very comprehensible and practical too.
It does, and it can strengthen one another. I mean, think about when you meet somebody who's completely opposite of you. At first, you may be irritated or annoyed, but here they are sharpening your abilities as a spiritual being to be even better. So
You just said it. That reminds me of my relationship with my fiance. That's another thing. I'm getting married in a couple weeks, and he is like my yin to my yang. You know what I mean? He really balances me, and that's why it works so well. You make a great team. For what he lacks, I can pick up. So with our relationships, with everything, we need to seek balance, and whatever that means, you'll know intuitively.
Yes.
But balance in our life, balance in our food, and our relationships, and
absolutely. And so what if you can give us one quick takeaway in terms of looking at the routine of things when we wake up, because people are beginning to go back to work, or maybe they have a busy day at home in their home office. What is a really easy takeaway that they can do as soon as they wake up? We know we do the gratitude, but maybe something more tangible, more practical for their body.
So I've thought about this question, and the best thing would be to drink that warm water and maybe boil a little ginger with it. Absolutely. Okay. Because if we have healthy digestion, then we're not going to have accumulation of toxins. And that means accumulation of toxins is one of the first stages of disease. In Ayurveda, there's 6 stages of disease. And if we're not digesting our food properly, and we're adding iced cold smoothies on it in the morning, our fire is diminished. We're putting our fire out when we need to ignite the fire. We need to spark the fire. So by drinking a glass of warm water, or even getting a thermos that you can carry around with you all day long, just sipping on that warm water, or even room temperature. If you live in the desert and it's 119 degrees, that's the last thing you want. So you could do warm water, but maybe a little bit of a cooling herb in it, like coriander. Okay. You know? So, but the warm water is huge, and it's a practical thing that everybody can incorporate and help them have a better digestion.
Gotcha. And you just sparked a new question in my head. You said the 6 stages that lead to disease. What are those stages, and how could we maybe begin to recognize, okay, we're starting to go up in a negative way, or maybe transition down? Like,
right. So that's another thing that really fascinated me in our pathology class. I learned that most of our diseases appear when it's already in the 4th stage of disease. So we have 6 stages of disease. It's accumulation, it's aggravation, it's overflow, and then basically it relocates. So then it relocates, and it starts kind of breaking down the tissues, and then eventually the death of the tissue is the 6th stage of the disease. So we can recognize this by little tiny, early on, they're called premonitory symptoms. If we know thyself, if we already know when we're balanced, and then we can detect the slightest thing, like not having a healthy bowel movement, not feeling like a little headache, and then you can realize, oh, maybe I'm a little dehydrated. We can pick up on these early signs and symptoms just by being in an already balanced practice. And then that way it's not already at the 4th stage of the disease, which is where the actual signs and symptoms of the disease appear. So little tiny things to notice, and having a healthy bowel movement every morning is key. And Ayurveda helps you do that. It teaches you, if you need herbs, we can do that. But basically Ayurveda, when you come see me or another Ayurvedic practitioner, we get to know you, we get to know the whole you, the energetic you, not just your symptoms, but basically you, and what how we can balance you with a list of foods to avoid, foods to favor, and then some daily practices that would help you, and possibly herbs. Sometimes detox is needed as well.
Yeah, and I love that, because you're allowing the person to share their whole story, and so you're encompassing the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical body, maybe the astral body. You're like tapping into everything. So
absolutely,
that's excellent.
It's all energy, and it's a beautiful science, because it just doesn't leave anything out. It's everything. It's the science of life, and that's what the word means. Ayur means life, Veda means science or knowledge of. So Ayurveda is everything. So
that should have been my first question. What does Ayurveda mean? Hello.
I love it.
You answered it. We're good.
Yeah,
So I wanted to go back to the other recommendation you were talking about, which is breath. So anytime anyone mentions the word breath work, pay attention to your breathing, I become more conscious of it. So I know for me, I admit it, sometimes I hold my breath. I think most of us do in this country. So, and especially today. So what are some techniques or approaches to help loosen our breath to be more rhythmic and natural?
I'm going to teach, time allows, just a simple basic abdominal
Do your
breath.
thing.
So most of us kind of breathe backwards, which I didn't even know about this, but when most of us, we breathe, our chest rises, when we inhale, our belly should expand instead of trying to suck in our guts or whatever all the time. When you inhale, you should inhale and fill up your belly to the depths of your belly with air. So breathe in and exhale. Let your belly collapse. Breathe in, fill your belly up with air. And exhale, let it just collapse, let it all out. So that's a basic abdominal breath. And so that will be the foundation of any breath work that you learn later on. A technique that I'll jump right back into because everyone deserves to know this tip. Mm-hmm. Because even if you do 2 minutes of this breathing technique a day or 20 minutes, I guarantee will feel better after that 2 or 20 minutes. So this is called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. Mm-hmm. And here, what we're going to be doing is just breathing in through one side of the nose, closing the other side, and exhaling through the other side. And what that will do is balance the right and left side of the brain, the female, the masculine side, and at the same time, just really calm down the body, the mind. So you can do this before bed, you can do this first thing in the morning, or any time that you're just feeling anxious. So whatever hand is comfortable and dominant to you, you can do your right hand if you want. And you'll take your thumb and you're going to place it over your right nostril. So you'll breathe in through the left side, filling your belly up with air, and on your exhale, occlude it, the left side switch with your ring finger. So inhale, sorry about that. There you go. Your thumb will be on your right side.
Give him the middle finger.
No, this is good because we're all going to be doing this together. So breathe in with your thumb on the right side. At the top, hold it, and then exhale, use your ring finger to occlude the other side. Inhale through that side. Switch. With your thumb on the right side, exhale. Breathe in. Exhale through the other side. In through the right. Close the right with the thumb. Exhale through the left. Inhale. Close the left. Exhale through the right side. One more time. Inhale. Close the right side. Exhale through the left side. So you can repeat that, and it takes a minute to get that. Some people do kind of put their middle finger on their third eye and they do this action.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
But I find this pretty easy.
Yeah.
So your inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And when you're doing it properly, and I know it's a little, I probably didn't teach us the right way right away, but you can watch it on YouTube, but it's called alternate nostril breathing. You immediately feel, you lose track of time. For those of you that can't sit through 2 minutes of meditation, of just okay, I'm going to be here and meditate. Instead, do an alternate nostril breathing technique, or just basic abdominal technique. That'll kind of help keep your mind off of the monkey mind, keep you out of your head and more focused on what you're doing here, and then the magic starts to happen.
Yeah, being more present. So, and just as you guys saw my own experience, release the perfection and just allow. And once that happened, yeah, I could feel a more sense of calm and feeling grounded. And I imagine this would be a great technique for somebody, maybe they're dealing with something super emotional, they got emotionally triggered, and so this could help with their emotional intelligence to bring them back down once they're able to get to that level. Maybe even little kids, I'll extend it out there, maybe. So
absolutely. I have 2 nephews, and they're going to be coming out to visit soon, but I've seen little YouTube videos on like the train breath, choo-choo train breath, which is another Ayurveda breath, but just like making it fun for the kids, you know what I mean? And then they like really, it calms down all those heightened energies, the vata energy, the air and space that wants to fly away. And it's like, wait a minute, come back down to earth. And that's the most grounding one that I do for myself or teach people. So if you can't fall asleep at night, that's a really good one. There's so many more. In this tool, and most breath work is very underutilized, and it is powerful. It's so powerful. Yeah. So I invite anybody to look on YouTube for alternate nostril breathing or any other kind of breath work. Reach out to myself. I offer 15-minute free consultations as well if you're not sure if Ayurveda is right for you. But I can tell you, it's changed a lot of people's lives, and it made them their own healer. So they can avoid even having to go to the doctor because they've already picked up on imbalances before it's gotten to that 4th stage of disease.
And I imagine even like with other healing treatments like acupuncture, acupressure, things like that, where it could potentially complement Western medicine and what's going on. I don't know if they've started studying Ayurveda practices. I know, like, for example, they've done it with Reiki, which is fantastic, and obviously meditation. Is there any science that's supporting this yet?
Absolutely. They're doing a lot more evidence-based practice. Ayurveda is time tested, and millions of stories, people can attest to it, but people want evidence-based practice. So those are being done right now with certain herbs and diseases. There's studies being done to show that this kind of therapy can help certain treatment, and in Ayurveda can help prevent someone from even getting a knee replacement. I met a guy, I was doing an eye exam right when I got into this program, and he knew all about Ayurveda, and he said I needed a knee replacement, and they did what's called a Janubasti, where they made a dough ring around his knee and they filled it with oil. They did it every day for 30 days. This oil therapy on his knee prevented him from having to get knee replacement. So
that's amazing.
It's not, Ayurveda's not a quick fix, but it is, if you do it and you want it, you want that healing, I mean, it's yours, and it's information's out there that's for free. But Western medicine is recognizing it. I see it in my own field, which is just in ophthalmology. I see doctors starting to kind of counsel a little bit more on breathing techniques, a little bit more on diet and lifestyle, because we know that that all counts. Everything that patient is doing at home and stuff, that all that stuff matters. Yeah. So it's the best medicine will become the integration of both East and West, because we can have preventative medicine like Ayurveda, and then when we need surgery, we need Western medicine. There's a place for it all. So yeah, I love it all.
Oh, totally. I love it all. That's excellent. So let me see if there's any other key question. Oh yes, I remember we're talking about in the practice of Feng Shui, we do adopt Bon Buddhist traditions in terms of chanting, doing mantras and prayers, does Ayurveda also offer any type of resonance with the voice to help with healing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So aside from pranayama, the breathing technique, and aside from meditation, we also do chanting, and there's so many different chants that are really simple, and then there's little bigger ones. But what I was taught at Southern California University, I was taught when we make our herbal prescriptions for our patients, when you're mixing the herbs together, you chant to the herbs, because you're like infusing them with that energy. You're infusing them with that healing power. You're putting that intention into the herbs, which, me coming from Western medicine for so many years and going, okay, I'm going to chant to this plant. I was like, okay. But after all of this time, I mean, what it does is it connects you even more with the herb and more with that client or patient. And I mean, it's just a beautiful practice. And because we are all connected and we're all in this together. So it's time for Ayurveda to be in everybody's lives right now, more than ever. Yeah.
And would you do us a great honor in chanting for us, and we can receive that beautiful sound?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My voice might be a little dry, but it just doesn't matter. So
doesn't matter.
Put your hands in prayer pose for me. And if you want, you can join me along. I'm going to do a couple ohms. Audience, you can join along. Namami Danvantarim Maridevam Sura Surer Vanditat Bharat Patmam Loke Jarai Ruk Bayam Rukdanasham Tataramisham Vivido Shadinam Om Shanti 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 Hare Om. Now please repeat after me. Peace to my body.
Peace to my body.
Peace in my mind.
Peace in my mind.
Peace always surrounding my soul.
Peace always surrounding my soul.
Namaste.
Namaste. Very good. Do you offer recordings of different chants, or is it just this one? Or
so I think that this will be holding me accountable to start doing that. I've wanted to. I've recorded one chant before and posted it, but I want to expand. I want to do more live interviews like this, or just go live myself and kind of teach some simpler ones where it's just one verse. Loke samasta sukhinu bhavantu. That means may all beings everywhere be happy and healthy. And that's a really simple one that we chant to our herbs. And just can chant anytime. So I will, I'm going to start offering that, especially after I get married. Right now it's kind of fearful for this wedding.
Yes, you have other priorities.
Actually, this has to be my first priority, because if I'm not balanced in doing my practice, then I'm going to have one heck of a time.
Right on. And because you mentioned your practice, and obviously we're in the world of COVID, quarantine, a lot of obviously digital. So how are you working with your clients right now? Is it something like this on Zoom, or are you seeing anyone in person?
So not in person yet, but I'm not totally opposed to. Right now, things keep fluctuating, but doing something just like this, but even making it easier where it's just kind of like a FaceTime, so they can just be on their device without having to log into a meeting. I've been just doing consultations that way. So I can see them just like we can see each other. I can go through all the questions, ask them all the, you know, everything that needs to happen. It usually takes about 90 minutes. And then I give them a whole protocol with diet, lifestyle, some herbs, and then again, maybe some detox if needed. But it's been working really, really well so far for me and my clients. The one thing that we don't get to do is the body therapies and like the Jacoby I was talking about with dough ring and the oil. But that's going to be coming. This isn't going to last forever. Everything is temporary. So just by getting started with helping individuals on a case by case, like how do I start balancing myself? Just seek me out. I never turn anyone down because of money or anything else. So.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So what's the best way that the listeners, the viewers can connect with you and find you?
I would say I offer my cell phone, but I would say email.
Email. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want, you can share it, but also just letting everyone know, I'll be sure to put your email, if you're comfortable with that, on social media and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was invited to work with Naomi Boas, who has been an Ayurvedic practitioner for, I want to say 5 or 6 years. I'm sorry, don't quote me, Naomi. But she's been working at Southern California University as well with new students, and that program has expanded hugely. And it's been ranked #1 in the United States for Ayurveda for a while.
Good stuff.
No, it's
amazing.
Yeah. Amazing doctors. They're from India. They're your friends. They're your gurus, mentors, everything. I would recommend that program to everybody. But I work at Heal Ayurveda LA, and then my own business is called Ayurprema, and that word means I put it together. Ayur means life, prema means love, pronounced prem. So Ayurprem means love life and love of Ayurveda. So
nice.
There
it is.
Yeah.
Very good. And so this brings us to our close with the interview. Are there any closing words or messages you'd like to share with the viewers, listeners?
Yeah. Something that comes to mind is I would like to share that with everything going on and the chaos that's going on with the virus and just the chaos in the world, always. I mean, there's always chaos. Try to maintain your own health and balance and your own serenity, and protect it by sort of not engaging in too much of the activity that's on social media. I get on social media and I see so much, this mask is, masks versus no masks, and it's a lot of like, it doesn't make me feel good. So I'm kind of staying off Facebook right now a little bit, because I look through it and I go, this is sad, this doesn't make me feel good. So make sure that you're not spending too much time watching the news and not spending too much time on social media, and spending more time in nature, 30 minutes a day. If you can get outside, get vitamin D. I know our country is chronically we're deprived of, or we're deficient in vitamin D. So, and that is a whole other spectrum of health related issues with that. So get outside, disconnect from devices, and just drink warm water and stop eating by 7 p.m.
That's so funny.
Yes. With nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. And smile and just think gratitude.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do now is, let me just see. I'm making sounds. Okay, we're good over here. If anyone has questions for Lisa, again, you can email her. You can find her on Facebook. I'll be sure to put that link. Do you have a business page on Facebook, or?
I do.
You do?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll get that, and I'll give you guys all the information so you can easily find her.
Yes.
But with that, Lisa, thank you so much for, basically just giving us your time and your knowledge and wisdom. So much appreciated, and I'm excited to see your practice blossom. And congratulations, with your marriage coming up. That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so much for inviting me on. And even though I was a little nervous, I mean, I feel so amazing after being able to.
You survived, yay.
I survived, yeah, so thank you so much.
So good. All right, bye everybody, have a good day, and go outside and play.
Yeah, go outside and play.
Bye guys.